Shall we start? Yeah? We're going to do Aqidah first, by the way. What point were we on? You wasn't here. 24. We picked up on Taqdeer and Qadr last time. Yeah, so pay attention because it is kind of mind-boggling this to understand sometimes. But don't worry if you don't understand it. You will understand it one day, inshallah. Okay. The whole, like I said to you as well, sometimes we go over things and we try to explain them in the best way possible. But it's really for your ears just to be rattled by them once. Yes, for your brain to be familiar with these masail. So when the second time you hear them, it becomes slightly easier for you to understand them. Okay? And this is more or less how the Dars Nizami course is built as well, where you listen to one thing, you might not fully understand it, and then you go through that book, then you start another book on the same subject. He might deal with it in more detail, but the teacher will still explain the basics of that masla to you. But what happens, you hear it again, and then the author himself will then more or less give his own explanation, yes, more detailed explanation, and that sometimes opens many doors for you of understanding, yes. So when you constantly hear things, you get a better understanding of things. Okay. So Aqidah number 24 is that, first of all, that we believe that everything is decreed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now this decree, this fate, which we call qada. What do we call it? Qada. Qaza in Urdu. Okay. This qaza, what we call, not qaza as in your namaz qaza, okay? Same word, but it has different context to it. Is on three types. So fate is of three types. Get used to these words as well. One type of fate is the first category, or the first type of fate is called mubram. It's called mubram. Anybody know what mubram is? Ever heard of the word mubram? It just means definitive. Yes? Yaqini, qati, certainty. Yes? Mubram. Okay. It's a 4-letter word in Arabic. Okay. Mubram just means definitive, hakiki. The second one is mu'allaq mahad, and in Urdu we'll say mahaz. Okay. Mu'allaq means suspended, dependent, and mahaz means purely. We use the word mahaz in Urdu as well. Okay? So, yeah, mahaz. And in Urdu they might sometimes say maz. Yes? Which means purely, simply. We're going to go through all of them, don't worry. The third one is this, and you won't find this in any other book. Okay? Have you done this with me, Awais? Yeah? You won't find this in any book, I guarantee you that. It's mu'allaq shabiba mubram. Similar, but slightly different. Mu'allaq shabih ba mubram. Mu'allaq, again suspended, but it's similar to mubram. Shabih ba mubram means similar to mubram. Yes? We're going to explain all of that. So these are the three categories of taqdeer or qaza or qadr. Now look what they are. Taqdeer mubram or qaza mubram is that which cannot change. Taqdeer mubram, the first one, is that which cannot change. This completely cannot change. I.e., it is the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then, for example, is written on Lawh Mahfuz. Yes? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might give knowledge of it to an angel or a prophet. Yes? And the angel and the prophet knows that this is taqdeer mubram. Yes? That when I say mubram, you will not know what it means. That is taqdeer mubram. Okay? It is taqdeer mubram. Mubram really, I told you, means certainty. There's no doubts in it whatsoever. This cannot change. Why? Because it's in accordance with the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's simple now, isn't it? If it's in accordance with the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then what's the reason why it can't change?
Allah's knowledge is eternal.
It's eternal and it can't change. It can't change. Yes, because change is a sign of a beginning. So for this reason, we say that taqdeer mubram can't be changed. Another way of looking at it is that it's not suspended on anything. It's just a command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not a command, but a judgment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is not, if he does this, then this will happen. If he does this, then this will happen. Yes? If you do such and such thing, then thing A will take place. If you do such and such thing, then thing B will take place. It's not such a decree. It's just straight. That when you hear regarding taqdeer mubram, then Hamza's pen will be writing. Yes? It's not like that. Okay? It's straight mubram. That Hamza will write. So when the angel reads it, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives that knowledge, he doesn't have to give the knowledge, but if he does give that knowledge to an angel, the angel will be like, this is taqdeer mubram. It can't change. So they're expecting Zaid or Hamza to start writing straight away. They're waiting, they're watching. He's going to start writing, and then they wait, and when he writes, then they note it down that he wrote at this time. Because they note down actions, don't they? Yes? So do you see what taqdeer mubram is? It's definitive from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's no ifs and buts about it. It's simple. In the suhuf of the angels, for example, the files that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to the angels of what humans will do and what's in Lawh Mahfuz, when the angels look at those lines, then they read that the pupils will be sat in an Aqidah lesson today talking about qaza and taqdeer. Now that's there in front of them. So they're expecting every single one of you to be in class. Yes? For you to be in class. Because they know that to be taqdeer mubram. So this can't be changed. This cannot be changed. And later on we'll go into another area as well of a man of Allah saying what he said regarding taqdeer mubram, and we'll give an answer to that as well. So this is taqdeer mubram. The second one is taqdeer mu'allaq mahz. Taqdeer mu'allaq mahz. Here in the books of the angels, this type of taqdeer is dependent. So when it's in the books of the angels and the files of the angels, it is said, if he does this, then this will happen. If his mother makes dua for him, then he's forgiven. Yes? So remember one thing, the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't change. He knows what's going to happen. All it is that knowledge, he has concealed it from the angels. So in the angels' books, they are now waiting for, will his mother make dua for him or will his mother not make dua for him? Yes? If his mother makes dua for him, then he's forgiven. If his mother does not make dua for him, then he is not forgiven. This is just an example. So, but do you see, it's not taqdeer mubram now, is it? It can go either way. The angels don't know. Yes? The angels do not know. But remember one thing, whatever happens, Whatever happens in reality, that's the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever happens in reality, that's taqdeer mubram. That is. So we're only looking at this in the sense of what is given to the angels or what is given to the prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything returns back to taqdeer mubram. As in what you are doing, that is taqdeer mubram. What you are doing right now, sat in class, that is taqdeer mubram. Because that's the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes? But then, there could be taqdeer mu'allaq. And that is for you to get to this class. Your mother might have made dua for you, your mother might have not made dua for you. Your children might have made dua for you. Whatever it is, there was a reason why you came into this class, for example. But once you've attended the class, you attending the class, that's taqdeer mubram. That's the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the point I'm making here is that this category of making it taqdeer mu'allaq, suspended, dependent. Yes? This is only by our standard, or by the standard of the angels. Yes? That the files that are being given to them was written in Lawh Mahfuz. What's written in Lawh Mahfuz, the tablet of the heavens. So that is taqdeer mu'allaq mahaz. Taqdeer mu'allaq mahaz can be changed, can't it? Taqdeer mu'allaq mahaz can be changed. The third category is taqdeer mu'allaq shabiba mubram. Taqdeer mu'allaq is a suspended taqdeer in reality, meaning in reality what's being given to the angels. But it resembles mubram. For example, Zaid. In the angels' files is written as an absolute sentence. Zaid will do this. That's what's being given to the angels. But in reality, it is dependent. It is dependent. As in, will his mother make dua for him or not? As an example. Yes? So the angels are actually waiting for him to, for example, be forgiven. Yes? But then his mother doesn't make dua for him. Yes? And then the angels will be looking that what they know, reality has gone against it, so to speak. Yes? And why? And they'll be thinking in their minds that this is meant to be like this. So the sentence that they have in their files, according to them, is taqdeer mubram. But reality is that it's not taqdeer mubram, it is taqdeer mu'allaq. All is the sentence resembles taqdeer mubram. Yes? Does that make sense? No? You say to somebody, I'm coming to your house, and they never turn up. Yes? What's that? If I find a car. Yes? So when you said it to him over the phone that I'm coming to your house, and then when you meet him the next day, you say to him, sorry brother, I couldn't make it because my wife took the car. Yes? So your coming to his house was dependent upon something, and that was the car. When that condition was fulfilled, that's when you could make his house. Because that condition was not fulfilled, you couldn't make his house. Yes? It's just an example in terms of it being conditional. Not the overall in terms of taqdeer, but just it being conditional. The truth is that this file has been given to the angels of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To the angels is written without a condition. It is written without a condition. So the angels are expecting the person to make this action. Yes? But in reality what? It is dependent upon something. For example, the mother making dua, certain things to happen, yes, which this taqdeer depends upon, and then it takes place.
So is there a chance that there's something there and it hasn't happened but it will happen later?
Yes. Yes. That something's there and it can happen later. But for now, look at the fact that taqdeer mubram is completely absolute, there's certainty in it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had said, Zaid will do this. Yes? And then the angels are waiting for that to take place, and Zaid does do that. That's taqdeer mubram. Yes? Then in terms of the files of the angels, there is taqdeer mu'allaq. That what in the actual knowledge is still with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He hasn't revealed it. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to the angels, so to speak, is that if such and such thing happens, then Zaid will do this. If such and such thing happens, then Zaid will do the opposite. Yes? Now this is dependent, isn't it? So the angels have to really look for what will Zaid do. You know, what will happen in Zaid's life and where will it take him. So that's taqdeer mu'allaq. It's suspended, isn't it? It's conditional. If the condition is found, then the result will be found. Then you got taqdeer mu'allaq shabiba mubram. The sentence is written in an absolute sentence. It looks like it's certainty to the angels. Yes? It looks like it's certainty to the angels, but really it is dependent. It is dependent. As in, there is, if he will do this, he will lead this way. If he does this, he will lead to this way. Okay? So what happens then is that when this is given, then what happens, the angels are waiting for an action to take place because they feel that it's absolute, is a complete, is taqdeer mubram. It's definitive. But then what? He does the total opposite action. He does the total opposite action. And when he does the total opposite action, then they realize what? That this was taqdeer mu'allaq shabiba mubram. That it was dependent on his previous action. Yes? Because he did a previous action, that's what led him towards this. Yes? So really, in essence, taqdeer mu'allaq shabiba mubram is really taqdeer mahaz. Taqdeer mu'allaq mahaz. These two are the same thing really. These two are the same thing. Yes? But we'll tell you the reason why we split them up later on. Okay. So when these two are the same thing, when number 2 can be changed, number 2 can be changed, taqdeer mu'allaq can be changed. You know, dua takes away taqdeer. Yes? What's coming to you, dua can take it away. Hence why I kept saying dua. Yes, your mother makes dua for you. Now, for example, when the Prophet ﷺ said that dua can change your fate, or whatever is coming to you, dua can change it. Yes? What the Prophet ﷺ meant by that was not taqdeer mubram. Because taqdeer mubram is reality, the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it can never change. But what can change is a suspended, I was going to say sentence. It's a suspended taqdeer. Okay? A suspended taqdeer. Do you understand that? As in what? If his mother makes dua for him. If his mother makes dua for him. So there might be a punishment coming towards Zaid. And then what happens? His mother makes dua for him. And then he is forgiven by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that punishment is taken away from him. Just by the power of his mother's dua. Okay.
You know, the second one of the mu'allaq mahaz, are the angels aware that it's dependent on something?
The angels don't have to be aware. That's the thing.
Or in the
When I'm saying like this, we're using angels as the example. So we're talking about angels. We're talking about awliya karam as well. Yes, they don't have to be aware.
on the like.
So for the first one, you know, when they look at taqdeer mubram, they'll know it's taqdeer mubram. Yes, and then they look at taqdeer mu'allaq mahaz because it says if this happens, then they know it's taqdeer mu'allaq mahaz. Then don't they? They know it's dependent. Yes, it's conditional. The problematic one is this one, mu'allaq shabiba mubram. Mu'allaq shabiba mubram, where in the person reading the file, he will feel that it's taqdeer mubram because it's similar to mubram, the way it's written. Similar to mubram. So it's written that way, but in reality, what is it? It is dependent. So the angel or the man of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that's looking at it, he could be confused by that. He can be confused by that. Okay? But we'll tell you later on why that is. But for now, understand that taqdeer mubram cannot be changed, and taqdeer mu'allaq mahaz and taqdeer mu'allaq shabiba mubram can be changed. Can be changed. Totally is a bit of a hard lesson. Okay. In all of the previous books of Aqidah, you'll just find 2 categories of taqdeer. Only two, the first two. Yes, only the first two. And what's that? That's taqdeer mubram and taqdeer mu'allaq mahz. These are the only two types you will find of taqdeer. But a problem arose. One was through a hadith sharif. And that was, it's a hadith sharif that comes in Kanzul Ummal. And that is, inna du'a yaruddul qada'a ba'da ma ubrima. That dua changes fate after it has become definitive. Okay. I said ubrima before, didn't I? I said it's a 4-letter word, it's a 3-letter word, okay? So, here, the Prophet ﷺ said that after it has become taqdeer mubram. That's the literal translation then, isn't it? That indeed dua moves away, takes away fate, takes away taqdeer, takes away qaza, after it has become mubram. Now that is troublesome for us in terms of Aqidah. Because what did we say? Mubram can't be changed. But here in Hadith Sharif it just come. Yes? So first problem. Second problem is, sometimes we might use examples regardless of if they're authentic or not authentic. Yes? In terms of this thing that we're going to mention, regardless of if they're authentic or not authentic, if it's a fact or not a fact, if it took place or if it didn't take place. Yes? Regardless of that fact, it serves a purpose. Yes? So we don't want to go into if this really happened or not. Yes? But it's an example which shows us that there's a problem. Yes, it highlights a problem for us, and now we need to answer that problem. That is related regarding Ghaus-e Azam, Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani, that he looked up towards Lawh-e Mahfuz and he changed the person's taqdeer. He crossed the line out. Or wrote another line. Yes? This is something related to him. Many of the muhaddithin later on mentioned it as well. People who wrote his biographies as well have mentioned it. But regardless if it's authentic or not, there are certain questions on this. But it serves a purpose for us in Aqidah. And that is, he said, and at the end of this, he said that I can change taqdeer mubram. I can change taqdeer mubram. And what did we say about taqdeer mubram? Can't be changed. Yes? So how do we answer it?
Do we say that
Somebody got it?
Allah already had it planned for him to change something, so it was never changed, it was already...
Somebody answered it. Number 3. Okay? It's number 3. The problem was, I'll tell you how the problem came out. That's the problem. Who answered it? Mujaddid al-Fisani answered it. Okay? Sheikh Ahmad Sarhandi. The Mujaddidi Tariqa, isn't it? Yes? He answered it. The truth was, before this, you'll find in the Mutakallimin were kind of struggling on this question. And many books just blanked it. They didn't even pose the question and didn't even try to answer it. Yes? But some of the Mutakallimin and even Muhaddiseen, yes, in the Shuruhat, started picking up on that, on this objection. Yes? And they started relating it. And then Ahmad Sarhandi, Mujaddid al-Fisani, radiallahu ta'ala an, he came along and then he sorted this masala out. And it's actually written in his maktubat as well, of how he settled it. And in a nutshell, he settled it by number 3. And that is that when the Prophet ﷺ said that the dua can change, in a nutshell, taqdeer, not taqdeer mubram, but can change that which is mubram. Yes? It was really number 3, that according to the angels it was mubram. According to the man of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that was looking at it was mubram, but really it was dependent. And what was it dependent upon? It was dependent upon the dua. So in regards to the angels, what was it? It was mubram, but really it was dependent. And when Ghaus Azam also said it, he was referring to this. So this third category has been brought up by Sheikh Mujaddid Alfe Sani radiallahu ta'ala an. Okay. The majority of the Naqshbandi Tariqa go to Sheikh Mujaddid Alfe Sani. Okay. So do you understand that up to there? That easy? Yes, I'll put in a really easy way for you. The author takes it the long way.
What are the things that can be changed then, taking into account the first one?
Taqdeer Mubram, when we say Mubram is certainty, that's reality. Yes? Like you're sat on that desk right now. That's reality. Yes? That's reality and that can't change. It's taken place now. That's something that can't change. So really what we're trying to say is that whatever's in the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that cannot be changed. So if God has written that Zayd will sit, yes? And that's also with his knowledge. That's also synchronized with his knowledge. Then what will happen is that this is Taqdeer Mubram and it can't be changed. But sometimes he gives a file to the angels. A file is given to the angels, or suhuf are given to the angels, their duties. And it's written there that Zayd will sit. Or Zayd will be in such and such place. Zayd will be in such and such place. And what happens is that Zayd is not in that place. Yes? So the angels might find that odd, a man of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might find that odd. But then he realizes that, for example, somebody has made dua for him, or he made dua himself. He made dua himself. Yeah? So he tells us that taqdeer was actually that piece of line that was written in the tablets and in the files of the angels. That was actually taqdeer mu'allaq. It was actually dependent, but the way it was written, it was written in a way that resembles taqdeer mubram. Just in writing, but not in reality.
So for instance, like when someone's going to die, that can't be changed.
Yes. That's never changed. That's taqdeer mubram. Yes? That's taqdeer mubram.
Would you say only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has knowledge of what is mubram and what isn't then?
Yes. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has that knowledge, but it's not in terms of giving that knowledge. Yes. Men of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can know as well what's taqdeer mubram, what's taqdeer mu'allaq shabiba mubram. Yes. There is something written there, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives that knowledge to a prophet, says that what's written here is taqdeer mu'allaq shabiba mubram. So he knows it can be changed. Yes. And what's mubram, he'll know that can't be changed. So that knowledge can be gifted to prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the angels even. Yes?
It can be given to awliya as well.
It can be given to awliya as well. Can be given to awliya as well. Yeah. And there's many accounts of that. Pick up Jami' Karamatil Awliya of Imam Yusuf Nabhani, and you'll see that there's many waqiyat where awliya ikram have changed people's taqdeer for them. Yes? So these are the three categories of taqdeer. Three categories of taqdeer. Right, he brings in one mas'ala. Yes, is away from the Aqidah points, is a mas'ala, a matter. And that is that he says that qaza and qadar, they do not come into the understanding of the general intellects. Yes, just one of those things. Yes. What can be changed and what can't be changed. Yes, and how is decree done. You know, I can put a lot of objections, but then it'll confuse you so much, and you might not come to the next class. Okay, and for some people, it might even start making them think about Islam. Yes, because it's such a thing, and it can happen. Yes, where we say that this will, for example, will is one of those masails as well. That we say in Al-Sunnah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you a free will. Yes, but then if you start pondering on it, He knows everything. He already knows what's happening. Yes, how I got free will. Yes, and then if you keep pondering on it, it can get you really, really confused. Yeah, but it's such a thing that doesn't come into the general intellects of people. general intellects of people. Like a sheikh once said, people are dull. Yes, and that's the case majority of the time. That people are dull. Yes, the ulama make statements and nobody understands them, and then we make our own conclusions regarding those statements just because we are dull, and then we face that scholar and we sit with that scholar when he explains it, and then we have our hands on our heads. What have we done? Yes, because we've understood it now. Yeah? So you have to understand that there are certain things that are said by ulama kiram which need to be understood as well. That's just their statements. Yes, taqdeer is a matter of aqidah, is a matter of belief. Yes, and it's such a thing as well. It's really at the brink. Yes, if the more you go into it, yes, the more dangerous path you're treading as well. So this is why we have been commanded by the Prophet ﷺ not to go too much into taqdeer. Too much into taqdeer. And one of the reasons was that the Prophet ﷺ saw Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu and Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala anhu. They were once speaking on the matter of taqdeer, and the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam said to both of them that don't speak on this. Don't speak on this matter. So then the two shaykhain, they started not to speak on this matter. The waqia goes that "40 people from the Sahaba Ikram sat down and they started talking in regards to decree, fate, and also jabr, as in that you're forced to do your actions." They started looking into this. And amongst them was Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq and Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala anhuma. At this point, Sayyidina Jibreel ala nabiyina wa alayhi salatu wasalam, he descended and he came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said, "Ya Muhammad, Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, O Messenger of Allah, come out and see what your ummah is doing. Yes, come out to your ummah and faqad ahdatsu, and see what they have brought forth." The Prophet ﷺ in that instance came out to the Sahaba Ikram, and it was in such a time when the Prophet ﷺ would never come out at that time. So what it means, as soon as the Sahaba Ikram saw the Prophet ﷺ, they knew there was something different and something was wrong. And the Prophet ﷺ denied all of what they were doing, as in, don't do this. And the Prophet came out in such a state that the Prophet's face had turned all red. Yes. Sign that the Prophet ﷺ was angry. They stood for the Prophet ﷺ, and they knew there was something wrong. And they stood all humble with their heads bowed. And they were shaking. With the narrative says, Sayyidina Soban said, they were all shaking because they knew that the Prophet ﷺ was angry. And they knew one fact as well, that the Prophet ﷺ never got angry because of a worldly reason. It was always because of Sharia. It was never because of a worldly reason. فَقَالُوا, as soon as they saw that, they didn't even ask the Prophet ﷺ, what's wrong? They said, تُبْنَا إِلَى اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ, we repent to Allah and His Messenger. Okay, we repent to Allah and His Messenger. And then the Prophet ﷺ said to them that Jibreel came to me, told me to come out towards you, yeah, and see what you are doing. Yeah? And the hadith carries on where the Prophet ﷺ then told them not to get into the details of taqdeer. Some muhaddithin have said that they were talking about taqdeer, but then they were talking about this matter of jabr, yeah? Being forced, not having free will. Yeah? They started looking into that, yet the view is that what? The Muslims or humans have been given free will. Yes, but they were looking into this masla, and that's why Sayyidina Jibreel ala nabina wa alayhi salatu wasalam came down. Regardless, both these matters are linked together. Both these matters are linked together, and they link with the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The reason of mentioning that is to make you realize when the Sahaba Ikram, who were the most learned of people, and remember that the Sahaba Ikram, every single one of them, are the most learned of people. Regardless of how much knowledge you have, yes, the Sahaba are still more learned than you. Yes, in every aspect. Yes? Just because they sat with the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. So when they're the most learned of people, and then the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala wasallam stopped them from talking in regards to taqdeer and going into the depths of taqdeer. So in comparison, you can make the comparison with yourself that when the best of people was stopped, then where does our status be in regards to talking about taqdeer? So this is why we don't delve too much into it. But we do say one thing. That just to explanation that as taqdeer, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not made you like a stone. Yes? Just to understand taqdeer, understand it this way, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not made you like a stone. Rather, He's made you different to a stone. And what's a stone? It just stays where it is. Stays where it is. Somebody asked me a question the other day. Do stones give birth? Yeah? Funny question. Mention stones, so.
Did you say
yes? I didn't say yes. No, I didn't answer it. And the reason was that sometimes you pick up a stone and there's smaller, 2 stones smaller underneath it. Yes. But anyway, okay. I said they created like that. Anyway, I didn't answer it to him though. We're not like stones, are we? That wherever you put them, that's it, they stay there. Yes? No movement, no nothing, no mind, no intellect, no will, nothing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not made you that way. Rather, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted you some type of will. Yes, a category of will is with you. There is some relief that He's given you where you can make choices as well. Yes, but I told you before as well that Him giving you that choice is part of His knowledge as well. It's part of His. In His knowledge, He knows that He's going to give you this choice. He's going to give you this choice. But He already knows what you're going to do though. Yes? But the knowledge, the main part is that the knowledge is it, the choice is in His knowledge. The choice is in His knowledge. So this is why He says that do this action, you'll be rewarded. Don't do this action, you'll be punished. Yes? So there's a choice that isn't there. But He already knows what you will do. But Him giving you this choice and allowing you to make a choice, this is all part of the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it's all taqdeer mubram. It's all taqdeer mubram. But it takes away this main point, and what's that? That you're not forced. You are not forced to do anything, even though He knows what you're going to do before. Yes? But in that knowledge, He hasn't forced you with anything. He has not forced you to do anything. That you have this willpower to do things as well. And one of the reasons is if you didn't have that, then what was the purpose of reward and punishment? The system of reward and punishment, heaven and hell, where would that sit then? If you didn't have that willpower to do things, and he didn't give you that choice, yes, then what's the point of Him making heaven and hell? So because He has created a heaven and hell, and He's going to put all the pious in heaven and all the wretched in hell, then He's also given you a free will to make a choice. Make your choice, even though He already knows what choices you are going to make. But it's part of His knowledge though, isn't it? Yes. When I say like that, you will realize that it seems to contradict, doesn't it? Yes? That's why taqdeer is hard. That's why. That's slight, even though it doesn't contradict, but that slight feeling that it contradicts. That He gives you a choice, it's in His knowledge, but He already knows what you're going to do. Yes? That it brings doubt, that's the word I was looking for. It brings doubt in your mind, and believe me, this doubt, if you actually feed it, yes, it can take you out of Islam as well. Yes? And this is one of those reasons why the Prophet ﷺ has said, don't talk about it. Just accept it as it is. Okay? And don't go too much into it. He puts a second masla And that's this, that to do a bad action yourself, to do something bad yourself, and then say, God made me do it. Yes? Allah ni marzi, yes. We don't say Allah ni marzi upon bad things, do we? Yes? Bad things as in sins. Yes? Sins. Sometimes humans, we perceive something as bad, as in bad for yourself. Yes? Something that's not good. Something's gone wrong. Opposite. Rather than bad, use the word wrong. Something went wrong. Yes? You can't use Allah ni marzi upon that. But something that's a sin, you don't say upon that. Okay? So this is what he's trying to say, to do something bad and then associate it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes? This is very bad. Yes? Not good. And in certain instances it can lead towards disbelief. Yeah, we're talking about that it's created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I explained this last time in terms of adab, in terms of having honor for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we don't associate it to Him. We know that He created it. We know that He created it, but we don't associate it to Him. Yes? Like I gave you the example of the pig, didn't I? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created everything. Yes? But then to say that He created the pig, depending on how you use it in the sentence, He is example now, isn't it? Yes? So it won't be an insult now, will it? Yes? But if you're talking to somebody and for example in amongst that you say Allah created the pig, yes? But you meant it in an insult, then this can lead, it is disbelief rather. Yes? Just because of the insult. So we don't associate things like that, or do a sin yourself and say, God made me do this, what could I do? It was taqdeer mubram. Yes? You can't do that. Even if it's taqdeer mubram. Even if it's taqdeer mubram, that's the reality. But what is, you don't associate it like that, do you? You do not associate in that way. So just the extra masla we're talking on. But rather, what do? We'll say that whatever is good came from Allah and whatever is bad came from us. You know, the second sentence is a metaphor. What is it? It's a metaphor. That whatever was bad came from me. We don't believe that literally, do we? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator of everything. The Mu'tazila actually believe, the Shia, they believe that everything good was created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and everything bad was created by ourselves. Created by ourselves. Meaning God didn't have nothing to do with it. Yes? Our Aqidah is slightly different. And what's that? Good and bad is all created by Allah. But out of honor and respect for God, what do we say? We associate the good with Him and the bad with ourselves. Associate rather than created. Okay? So that's why I said the second sentence is a metaphor. Aqidah number 25. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is free of place, time, movement. What's the opposite of movement? Stillness. Okay. Shakal surah. Image or form. Image or form. And everything that is created. Everything that is created. I'll go over it once again. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I missed one thing out though. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is free of direction, place, time, movement, stillness, image, form, and all created things. And all created things. Everybody got that? Now look at why. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is free of directions. Why? Why is He free of directions? He created directions. Another thing is that if you have a direction, yes, it also denotes form, mass. Yes? Yep, when you point at something, that's a direction, isn't it? Forwards. Yes? But when you're pointing, you're showing a direction, but to point that way, you have to show that there's something there. Yes? And God is free of that. Makan, place. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is free of place. Why? Same reason. He created space. He created the space, didn't he? That place, he created it. Time. Same reason again. That he created time. Stillness. Same reason. He created stillness as well. Shaklo surah. Form and image. Yes? Mas. He's free of that. Why? Because he also created that as well. And all created things. Whatever you have in creation, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is free of them. Now why do we say all this? Because we can ask a question on this. The question is, if God created place, but then needed place, where was he before he created place? Eh? But then he's dependent. Is a circular argument, isn't it? Is a circular argument that what? God created space and God is dependent upon space. Yes? When he needs space and place. But then he also created it. So then you have to ask the question that before he created it, where was he? Before he created space, where was he? This is the problem now, isn't it? And simple answer. The answer is that the problem is wrong. Why? Because God is not dependent upon space. That's the simple answer. The reason why this problem is arising is because the belief that you suggested is wrong. God is not dependent upon time, place, space, form, any of these things. Yes? So those people who believe that God can have a form, like you have people, I've seen one guy, I think it was from Australia, yes, and he says, God's got a shin. And he points to his own shin like that. Okay? Hands as well. Okay? He does all sorts. That's kufr. We call these people the Mujassama or Mujassima. Call them the Wahhabiyya Mujassima.
Was he Muslim?
Well, according to us, he wouldn't be Muslim.
He calls himself Muslim.
Yeah, he calls himself Muslim, yes. I don't know his name. Do you know his name? He's a reaver. Okay. There's quite a few of them though. Yeah. He actually says God has a shin. The truth is he asked the audience, does God have a shin? And they're kind of reluctant to answer it. Yes? And then he forces it into them.
Is it because they just take everything literally?
They take everything literally, yeah. Yes. We're not literal people. We keep text literal as well, but then we also believe in metaphors. Did I tell you the story of a Saudi Mufti once? He was live on TV. And he was live on TV and he was debating a very young lad. Very, very young lad. If I remember correctly, he was still a student at the time. Now he's a big scholar. But it was one of the first in Saudi TV, he was coming up. He was a Sunni scholar. And you have to note one thing, that many of the Sunni scholars in Saudi Arabia, their voices are pressed down. So he was one of those young ones that had just started coming on TV channels. And he sat against, and he was actually the Grand Mufti as well. Yeah, sat in front of the Grand Mufti who was blind. And it was sat in front of him and they're having a debate. And the debate was, do metaphors consist in the Quran? Yes. And they were debating. The truth was, the Grand Mufti, he was very old. He's dead now, but at that time he was very old. He had literally taken this student for a ride, just taking him on. But anyway, they got onto this topic, and this question comes, that does metaphors consist in the Quran, and are there metaphors in the Quran? This student said to him yes, he said no. So they had a bit of altercation between themselves. The student read a verse of the Quran. Yes? That the one who will be blind in this world will be blind in the hereafter. The Mufti is blind. Okay? The one who is blind in this world will be blind in the hereafter. Then this young student said to him, answer that. This Mufti stayed silent. Yes? To a point the cameraman did not even know where to put the camera. Yes? So the host called a break. The host called a break, and when the program came back on, the Grand Mufti was no longer there. He couldn't answer it. Because according to him, he can't simply say that I will be blind on the day of judgment as well. He knows it's a metaphor. That blind here means the one in terms of faith who is blind, who didn't recognize Islam, who didn't recognize the Quran, didn't recognize the Prophet ﷺ. On the day of judgment, he still deny it. On the day of judgment, he will still deny it.
There's other verses, isn't there, where the Quran refers to the Prophet as a nur. So if you put that to him, what would his answer be?
To him.
Yeah.
We can take that literally as well.
Yeah.
Yes, we can take it as a metaphor as well. Yes, but this fitted with him, though, didn't it? So we have metaphors in the Quran as well. But they take it literally. But we know from our belief from the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alaihi wasallam that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is free of all these things. Yes, because the truth is, if you say that God can have form, then what's stopping him to come into his creation? Yes. When you have that belief, then you've opened a door for Hindus. Don't they say God comes into creation? Some Christians believe that, don't they? Yes, that God comes into creation. So where do you draw that line? Yeah. The truth is, the Ahlul Sunnah has the pure belief of what? That God does not come into His creation. He's free of that. He is free of that. So do you understand the Aqidah? Aqidah number 26. To witness Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this dunya, in this life rather, is impossible. You have to understand this rather. It's possible, but it can't take place. For humans it's possible, but it can't take place. So we just round it off as impossible for people. Nobody has witnessed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this world except the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. When did the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Isra and Mi'raj. Ask a question? No? You can answer? Okay. Inshallah. This is a khasa of our Prophet sallallahu ta'ala wasallam. Khasa means it's only specific to the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. The khasais of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam is a subject in itself. Ask a question first.
Sorry, before you move on to this point, I just want to ask about the previous one.
Okay.
Do you know in the Quran it's most of us put that as he?
Yes.
Why does it do that?
And not she.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like obviously Allah doesn't have any. Is it just because it's easier
It's easier.
to understand it?
It's easier as well, and also it's honor in it as well. Yes, and in classical Arabic sometimes what happens is that if you know the person's gender, if you don't know it, yes, they refer to as he just as honor. Yes, just as honor, and that's why it's done that. Even in the English language, it's done as he as well, isn't it? Yes, we don't refer to God as she, but keep an eye on time as well. Even though we might start saying men and women are equal in this day and age, and in Islam they are more or less equal in their own rights. Okay, you have to look at the times in which Islam came about as well, where men and women in terms of dunya weren't equal. Yes, so there was an honor in saying he to a person, and calling a person she is not an honor. I tell you to call each other she and see how you react to each other. Yes, you just experiment. Yes, just walk across the road and say a she to somebody and see how. Well, okay, even in our societies we do that as well, where if you say she or he, even sometimes is found to be rude. People, I've got a name. People say that, don't they? Yes, I've got a name. So even then it can be a bit of according to our times. Okay, but in Arabic language, saying huwa to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, huwa Allahu, yes, there's honor in that as well for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, and then also because it is the stronger of the genders, if you like, even though God does not have a gender. Okay, but in terms of your physical forms, than men are stronger than women in the physical forms, which sometimes we denote honor and respect towards that as well. Yes? It happens, doesn't it? You don't bully a guy who's 10 times stronger than you. Do you? You start showing him respect. Yes? Somebody who's weaker than you, then you don't show him respect, do you? So do you see how it links? Yes? So sometimes because of that we show honor with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But there is a movement where people have started. I was watching British Muslim TV once, and on that there was a lady that I believe she was a Jew or a Christian, I'm not sure what she was. She might even be Muslim. And she said that she intentionally says she to God, for God. Yes? We don't accept this method. Okay? We do not accept this method just because God has stipulated Huwa for himself. Yes? And Huwa is he. Huwa is he. And if you go into Shakespeare language as well, you'll see that Shakespeare sometimes says he for women as well. Okay? Just to grant them honor. Yes? There's many examples. I read an article a long time ago as well on this, where even Shakespeare sometimes uses he for women. And if you look down into history as well, instead of Her Majesty for the Queen, sometimes say His Majesty. Okay? For the Queen though. Yes? This is where they picked up it from, and then Shakespeare had taken that. Okay? So that these things as well, in terms of honor. Yes? So that's the only thing we're looking at. We're not actually looking at the gender. We're looking at just that is a form of honoring Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? What was I saying before that? Yeah, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam khasais is a subject in itself. It's a subject in itself. You have the seerah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You have the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then there are the khasais of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, like Shifa Sharif of Qadiyat is like on the khasais of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You have khasais of Imam Suyuti rahimahullah ta'ala, khasais al-Kubra. He also wrote khasais al-Sugra as well, which is a lot smaller than khasais al-Kubra. Look into those books as well, because it's a subject in itself. Okay, I'd love to teach it one day. I was teaching in Victor Street straight after your class, but I've been teaching it for like a year or so to Maulana Sohail. It just got too lengthy, and we only had done the first chapter. So we thought we'll close the book and leave it, inshallah. Okay, but it's a very useful book to go through. It's a khasa of the Prophet ﷺ to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's the only one that has seen Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by the naked eye. That's the khasa. Yes? But you can see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your dreams. You can see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your dreams. And that's however He shows Himself to you. Yes? However that is. And the reason we say that, like Imam Shafi said, I seen Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more than 100 times in my dream. Imam Abu Hanifa says something similar as well. That he's seen Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more than 100 times in his dream. But every single person, well, not every single person, here I see here, or akhirat mein har Sunni Musliman ke liye mumkin. Yes? Every Sunni Muslim will see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment. On the day of judgment with his naked eye. With his naked eye, he will see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment. And by this means see a sight of mercy. A sight of mercy. That they will actually see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but it will be a merciful sight as opposed to the non-Muslims. Okay? Har Sunni Musliman, whoever is not Sunni, then he'll get something else as well. So this is that. Yes? So this will take place, and in heaven you will see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well. Depending on your ranks, yes? Those who will have higher ranks will always constantly be witnessing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Those of lower ranks in heaven will witness Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, according to one narration, every single Friday. Yes, whenever that is. Okay, because we know that time will kind of change. Yes, it will be different. So whenever Friday is.
Could you just clarify something relevant to this? I read somewhere that when the husband come back to their wives in Jannah, their beauty will be even more magnified because they are.
The husbands or the.
No, the husbands.
The truth is both of them. Both of them. When we say here, there's no male female difference here. Everybody, whoever's in heaven, will witness Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, will see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? We'll take a break then, inshallah. I'll just finish this section alphabet. Somebody asked the question, will we see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment or only if we get to heaven? The answer to it is you will see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment. Yes. Will everybody get to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? From the believers, yes. From the disbelievers, there are difference of narrations, but they will have the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon them. Yes, for some they won't even get to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but for some they will see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but it'll be the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala which they will see. Okay, so that's that. Somebody asked regarding taqdeer and the examples of taqdeer. You can't really give an example of taqdeer. Yes, the only thing that we can say is whatever's happened in your life in the past. That's the example of taqdeer. And the only thing that we can say is these three things. Yes, taqdeer mubram, taqdeer mu'allaq mas, taqdeer mu'allaq shabiba mubram. As in examples of each one, which one's taqdeer mubram? Taqdeer mubram, like I said, everything that's happened in the past in your life, that's taqdeer mubram. Taqdeer mu'allaq mahaz, I don't know what's written in Lawhi Mahfuz, so I can't tell you. Okay. Mu'allaq shabiba mubram, what's that? We can't give you, I mean, living example, if you want to say that if this happens in your life, then this will happen. I can't say that, can I? Yes? I can just give you example if it's written like this and this will happen, if it's written like this, that will happen. We can give example like that. But as a living example, we can't give you a living example because I don't know what's going to happen in your life. Okay? The awliya ikram will probably be able to give you the examples, inshallah ta'ala. But that's in general. I'll finish with this next Aqidah, and that is the Aqidah number 27. And that is that when we see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's without kaif. Has anybody got a translation of this? Bila kaif. Okay. Kaif means as a howness, as if, like you say, kaif haluk. How are you? Yes. How will we really see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? When he can't be bound by direction, he can't be bound by time, place, space, yes, these things, then how will we see him? How will we see him? So we use this word bila kaif. And what it means is that we will see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but we can't say how we will see him. We will be able to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment, but we can't answer this question of how will we see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment. Meaning, will we be at a distance from him? But then if you say distance, then you're stuck again. Yes? Will he be in front of you? If you say in front of you, then you're given a direction. Yes? So all these things that are troubling, we can't answer them as of now. This is knowledge that we don't possess. So how will this sighting of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take place? How will you see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So he answered it by saying that our belief is that we will see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's proven through Quran. Yes, that we will see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wujuhun yawma idhin nazira. Yes, on that day the faces will be looking forth. Yes, meaning looking at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So our belief is that they will see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment and in the hereafter. But this question of how, we shouldn't ask this question. We shouldn't ask this question while we're living in the dunya. While we are living in the dunya, the author says that when we be on the day of judgment and we meet, then ask the question. Okay? Then ask the question and then I'll tell you that. Okay? So when we see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on that day, ask the question and the ulama will answer you on that day of how they saw Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? But as of the dunya, we can't really answer this question of how we will see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment. Any questions so far on this, on Aqidah? Huh? Any more questions? Huh? Sri Danish? No? Okay. Sisters? We'll move on to FIqh then. What was the last thing we did? Wuzu? The farz of wuzu did we do? Yes? The 4 farz of wuzu we did, yes? Who knows them? What's the first farz of wuzu? Face. Second? Hands. Third? Masa. Fourth is feet. Okay. Now look, it tells you وَسَبَبُهُ إِسْتِبَاحَةُ مَا لَا يَحِلُّ إِلَّا بِهِ. What's the reason and the cause as to why we make wuzu in this dunya? He says that the reason we make wuzu is to make those things halal, permissible, which were maybe not permissible to do before, without wuzu. So what can't you do without wuzu? Read Quran. You can? Looking and touching the Quran, that is. Okay. What else? Salah, yes, namaz. You can't read namaz without wuzu. Salah can't be prayed without wudu. So what does wudu do now? It gives you access to that prayer. But this is its reason for the dunya and what it does in terms of its effects in the dunya. In the hereafter is as-sawabu fil akhirah. It's reward in the hereafter. It's reward in the hereafter. As in you do wuzu, you get rewarded in the hereafter. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward you abundantly. Now just as before, we always mention conditions which might make wuzu wajib farz upon you. So there is such thing as a wuzu, but is it farz upon you to do wuzu? You have to fulfill these conditions for wuzu to be farz upon you, and you've done them in Aqidah, some of the points anyway. And that was the conditions of taklif. Yes? For you to be burdened by Sharia. So what was the first one? Aql. What's aql? Sanity? Somebody said sanity? Intellect. Okay. To be intellectual. Okay. Third one is bulugh. What's bulugh? Mature. Baligh. That's the second one. So if you reverse it, then immature child. Yes. A child is not farz upon him to do wuzu, is it? You should train them up to do wuzu, but it's not farz upon them to do wuzu. Islam, for them to be Muslims. For them to be Muslims. These are the 3 that really came in the conditions of taklif, didn't they, in Aqidah. But then for wuzu, you have to have this condition as well. Qudratun ala isti'mal al-ma'il kafi. To have strength upon using sufficient water. Yes? For you to have the power to use sufficient amount of water. Let's have a look at this. There's water there, but you don't have access to it. Yes? Is wudu fard upon you then? No? Then in that case, we'll go towards the tayammum or something like that, in extreme case. There's wudu, there's water there, but it's somebody else's. You can't use it. So then, if there's no other water around, then you can do tayammum, can't you? Or ask this person first. If he doesn't allow you to use it, then tayammum. There's water there. You got access to it, but it's only half a liter. Not enough, for example. Half a liter. Small amount of water. Now, is that sufficient for you to do wuzu with? No. So when it's not sufficient for you to do wuzu with, have you fulfilled this condition? Because it's strength upon, power upon using sufficient amount of water. But here you have the power, you have the strength, but it's not sufficient. There's no way you're going to use that much water, that less water to get all of your limbs wet. Yes? So then it won't be wajib and fard upon you to do wuzu at that point. We'll go to the secondary command, and that's tayammum then, isn't it? Yes? For wuzu to be farz, Another condition is wujudul hadas. For you to be in a state of impurity. For you to be in a state of impurity. Be wuzu, like we say. Okay. For you to be without wuzu. Now, is it fard upon you to do wuzu when you got wuzu? No, it's not, is it? Yes? I mean, you can just join the salah if as you please. And if you want to renew your wuzu, then that's a choice. That is a choice upon you. If you want the extra reward. But in terms of it being fard upon you, it's no longer fard because you are already in the state of wuzu. Another condition, this is for the sisters, and that is that the sister should not be in a state of haid. Haid with the dad, we pronounce it as haiz. Okay. The menses should not be in the monthly menses. Why? Because salah is no longer upon you, is there? Salah is no longer, namaz is no longer fard upon you when you are in the state of your menses, the monthly period. Likewise, there shouldn't be nifas. Nifas is postnatal bleeding after giving birth. Yes? And give birth, then blood appears. That blood can last for even 1 second and it can stop. Then namaz is fard again. Or it can last up to 40 days.
Does that count for things like miscarriages?
Yes. Yes. It does count for miscarriages as well. So these things should not be there, and the simple reason is because namaz is not fard in that state, is it? So we don't need a concept of wuzu then, do you? Yes? You're not going to be reading the Quran in that state as well, so wuzu will not be fard. And the time should not be short. The time should not be short. Okay, we mentioned that in the back as well. These were the conditions for wuzu to be farz. We talked about this last time, and that is that if you're waiting for water and you know that water is coming, but you're not really sure when it's coming, yes, and now you only got enough time to do tayammum and pray your salah, yes, then we'll say at this point, because you don't know when it's coming, do tayammum and pray your salah. Okay, so it's really giving conditions for you to also move towards tayammum as well at the same time. There are also conditions for wuzu to be correct. For wuzu to be correct. We always make difference between these things. So wuzu might be fard upon you to do, yes, but when you make wuzu, is it correct wuzu? Yeah. So these are conditions for that wuzu to be correct, healthy. So there's 3 conditions altogether. Umumul bashrati bil ma'i tahuri. In a simple way, don't be conjuice with water. Don't be a miser with water. That means be generous with water, as in make water, generalize water all over your limbs. Be generous with that water and make sure all your limbs have got flowing water going past them. By flowing water, we just mean making sure that you spill water over them. Okay? Don't be like a miser and get a drop of water and start rubbing it on yourselves.
So you've got
A cut.
yeah, so you have to
We'll tell you that chapter is going to come on its own as well regarding cuts and bandages. But we'll tell you as well, if it's a bandage, then it's a different hukum. We'll do masa. If it's a cut which doesn't have a bandage around it, then you'll wash everything else. If it hurts you to put water over it, then you can just get a wet hand and whatever your strength is, you can go over that. Okay, it's going to come properly in the chapter itself. So being generous with that water, okay, it'll come in the things of makruh as well. That you don't do taqteer. Yes, be a miser and use less amount of water. Yeah? So if these videos that pop up and subhanallah, the guy is using just a cup of water, yes, and he's doing wuzu with it, we don't accept it. It's not sunnah wuzu. There's no reward in it. There is no reward in it. The perfect wuzu is sunnah wuzu, isn't it? Yes. So if you got all this, whatever amount of water you need, yes, to fulfill the sunnah, then that's where the best reward is as well. Okay. You know, if you're following the sunnah and you're fulfilling the sunnah, then that's not wasting water, is it? Yes? So you wash your limbs 3 times, don't you? Yes? So you've done it twice, now 3rd time. As long as it's within the sunnah, then it's not wasting water. Anything above the sunnah is wasting water. And as long as it's not a need as well. For example, you might have thought you've done the sunnah, so you're washing yourself and you've done 3 times. But then you realize a bit of your arm you left dry. Yeah? So you have to wash that, don't you? That's a need. That will not come under israf. So need or sunnah. Fard, by need I mean fard as well. Fulfilling a fard or fulfilling a sunnah, this will not come under wasting water. Will not come under wasting water. So mean whatever you generally use in terms of doing wuzu. Whatever your need is, anything above that, by need here I mean sunnah as well. Whatever your need is to fulfill the sunnahs as well, anything above that will now class as wasting water. Then a second thing is for there not to be anything which is against wuzu. Hairs, nifas, what we just talked about. Yes. Menses or postnatal, bleeding or being in a state of impurity. So if you do wuzu, then it won't be correct wuzu, will it, if you have these things? Yeah. Or there's impurities upon your body. Even for men this, if there's impurities upon your body, and then you're doing wuzu with that impurity upon you, then that won't be wuzu, will it? You have to remove the impurity first, and then carry on with your wuzu. Number 3, to remove anything which stops water reaching the skin. Yes? To remove anything which stops water reaching the skin. He gives 2 examples of this according to his own time. Candle wax, or just wax on its own. It has a body, doesn't it? It's thick. So when it dries, it's kind of hard to take off your skin. So if you got that on your skin and then make wuzu, this stops water reaching the skin, then that will mean that whatever is underneath this wax, water has not reached it. When water has not reached it, then you haven't fulfilled your fard, then have you? When you haven't fulfilled your fard, then you haven't done wuzu. Yeah, we're coming to, yeah. Okay. We call it ajeen, is going to come later on as well. Actually, it's in the next chapter. Okay. Ajeen, this will, you'll have to take it out. Yes. Flour. Another example he gives is fat. Yes. The one you eat. We don't eat it actually. Asians don't eat fat. Okay. Actually, I mean proper fat. Yeah? In the Arab lands, it's kind of a delicacy where they eat fat just on itself. You know, when you prepare your meal and you get the chicken, or rather the meat, yes, and you see all those white things, you cut it off, don't you? And you put it aside and you throw it all off. Or you sometimes tell the butcher to clean it all. That stuff is, doner meat's made out of that stuff. Okay? You know those blue bins that you see? Yeah? They go off to the doner meat factories and then they make doner meat out of it. So what happens is, that fat in Arab lands, they tend to keep it together and then they fry like eggs. Yes? And the truth is, it is a delicacy. Yes? And if you have serial eaters, okay, like serious eaters, who are constantly into their foods, right? They will tell you that, when there is a bit of fat on the meat, it actually gives it a bit of taste to it. But you have to understand that when you do eat it, it sticks. Yes, it sticks to your skin, and it's like glue at times. It's so thin. It's really thin piece, yes, and you can peel it off as well, and it sticks like that. But if you do wuzu with that on your hands, you haven't got wuzu. It stops the water. For sisters, do this for men as well. If you're wearing nail polish, okay, if you're wearing nail polish, then it stops. Same thing with paint as well. You have to take it off. There's an oil. What oil do they use?
Turpentine.
What is it called?
Turpentine.
Turpentine. Okay, it's like a spirit, isn't it? Yes. Mitti na tel, that's it. You'll have to use something like that to take it off. Somebody asked a question regarding, I can't remember the actual name for it. Nail polish which allows water through. Yes. The Maulanas need to test that. Okay. If it actually does let water through. Wallah, how are they going to figure out if it lets water through? Okay. But that still needs to be in the laboratory.
What about certain medication, like people with skin problems?
We're going to come to that. That's separate. That's a need, isn't it? Yes. What we're talking about now is not exactly a need in itself.
Like plumbers, like silicone and stuff
That needs to be taken off. All those things need to be taken off before doing wuzu.
What if it's like a really thick layer and it's constant?
And if you tried everything to take it off, like super glue, and you've tried everything to take it off and it just does not come off, then do wuzu and read your prayer. Yeah? Because you can't do anything about that. Okay? So nail polish is the main victim for sisters. Yes? What's that? Yeah, I answered that recently. False nails, false eyelashes. Yes? There's no harm in you wearing them. Yes? In terms of just putting them on and decorating yourselves. There's nothing wrong with that. But it will harm your wuzu. Yes? Because I think they stick them on, don't they? Yes? And you can't take them off. Yes? Then that's a bad idea then. Yes? You shouldn't do that in those days which namaz is fard upon you. In the days when namaz is not fard upon you, then you can do whatever you like. Yes? So those 10, more or less 10 days maximum, you can do whatever you like in those days. Okay? So these were three conditions in which wuzu won't be correct if it doesn't apply.
The pain was called
White spirit.
And what about this, nowadays there's a concept for the ladies of permanent makeup. You see advertising.
Permanent makeup. If you have permanent makeup and it's thick, meaning it doesn't allow water through, then again we'll say that's not permissible. Generally what happens with makeup as well is that if it goes into your pores, into the skin, as in just stays on top of it but doesn't have a body, then it's fine. And general makeup is like that. Depending on the sister that's using the makeup as well. Yeah? If you see some sisters that they have this thick foundation on, yes, peeling off. Depends on how you apply it as well. But if it's just a thin piece, right, in like a pen, this is what I'm referring to, like a pen mark. Okay? If it's just like a pen mark, that won't stop wuzu. Okay? That will not stop your wuzu. Okay? Because it's part of the skin there. It's part of the skin. So some makeups you get like that, especially those, I don't know what you call them, that you put on top of your eyelids. Okay? Eyeshadow. Okay? If you've got something like that and it's just a thin layer of it, yes, just like a pencil mark or a pen mark, then it's fine. But if it's actually thick, if it's actually really, really thick, yes, and it stops wuzu, then what will happen is you won't have wuzu in that state. It stops water, you won't have wuzu in that state. Okay.
How can you judge something? How do you know?
This is for the sister to judge. This is not for you to judge. You're not going to give the fatwa. This is not for us to judge. This is a personal thing, isn't it? Yeah. So between yourselves, you have to judge it. Okay. Unless you're judging your wife, then you're a judge.
But you know, how can you decide if something that someone applies to skin is waterproof or not?
We can't.
I don't know if it's
No, we can't. The truth is, we can't. Best thing is to just stay away from it. Our prayer time.
No, but that's the point, isn't it? Then if you don't know.
Best thing is not to use it. Yes. Best thing is not to use the makeup. You'd be shocked how many people used to use makeup from men on TV channels and from our Maulanas as well.
What about mechanics like oil? You know, like they've always got grease in their hands.
If it's got if it's got a body to it, yes, then it will need to be removed. But you can look at this with a stain. If it's a stain, like a blood stain, yes, that's a stain. That's part of the skin. That's like a pen mark, yeah, and that does not need to be removed. Try your best to remove it. But if it doesn't remove, then it's a stain. Yes. But anything that has a body which stops water, then that needs to be removed.
You make a judgment if water washes it off, then it hasn't. It's okay, but if it doesn't wash it off, then it's got body.
Then it's got body to it. Yes, with the exception of oil.
Yeah.
With the exception of oil. Oil is different.
So there's terminal nail polish where water is not used.
Yeah, this is what we're saying, that that's something which is still in the laboratory of the Maulana. Okay, he's still testing on his own hands.
So it's okay to have oil on?
Yeah, any type of oil that you have, okay, that you apply to the body, that's fine. That's an exception. That's from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, that's an exception in that. So sometimes when you have oil on your hands and then you wash your hands, you see that the water just breaks away. Yes, and your skin is still dry. That's the exception of that from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yes, so that's different.
You have to remove it after wash.
Not the oil, not the oil. No, any type of oil that you apply in your hands or on the rest of your body, while you're washing it, you don't have to remove the oil. Yes, that's the exception. Meaning your wuzu will still be done. Yes, so when you wash your hands and the water just slides away, that hand is washed according to us. It's just these things that have a body, thick, they need to be removed.
So make oil-based makeup, maybe alright.
Yes, oil-based makeup. Or you can use a pen. Okay, a proper pen. Okay. That's that. Look at the next section. He actually mentions things which are wajib in wuzu, but he means that they're fard in wuzu. But he made a separate chapter just to highlight a certain thing. They come under the fards. They're really fards, but he just wanted to highlight these things just to show the importance. But they're really part of, for example, washing the face. Yes? He just wanted to highlight these things. And that is that if a person has a thick beard, beard. Wes, what did we say about a thick beard?
You can't see from the side.
Yes. What was the story about the thick beard? What did the ulama write regarding a big beard? There's this thing about a big beard that you can tell the intellect of a person by his beard. Yes. We were just talking in the Dars Nizami class last time, and we mentioned the word thick. Yes? And I think somebody took thick the other way, as in. So then we mentioned regarding a beard. Some of the ulama mentioned that if a person has a beard bigger than a fistful, yes, is a sign of his intellect that he doesn't have an intellect. Yes? So if he's got a massive beard bigger than a fistful and it's going down to his knees, yes. Mullah Ali Qari writes this, Shah Abdul Haq Mohsin Delvi also writes this as well. That is a sign that he's got no wisdom and he's got no intellect. Yes, I mean he's not thinking straight. Yes? And the perfect beard is a fistful. Yes, for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had that. But by thick here we don't mean that. Okay, we mean a thick beard as in where you can't see the skin behind the beard. For this type of beard is wajib, farz. When I say wajib, it means farz. It's farz for you to wash the apparent side of it. Yes, apparent side, what you see, yeah, just the top of it, that needs to be washed. But those places where you see the skin, or if that's a beard, a see-through beard, yes, then what will happen there is that you need to get water to the skin. So this becomes farz for you to do then. The hair which are loose, as in which are coming off your face, yes, these don't need to be washed. This does not be. So any hair that's meeting your face or with your jawline, all that needs to be washed. If it's a thick beard, then just the apparent side needs to be washed. But that which is coming off, this does not need to be washed. As in you don't have to pass running water through it. Okay. And for a thin beard, you have to get it to the skin. Similarly, it's not necessary for you, and I mentioned this before as well, that the lips have two parts, don't they? Remember them? The dry parts and the moist parts, wet parts. And that's the borderline, isn't it? So when you close your mouth, then you close it at that borderline. Anything before that borderline which will class as the inside of the mouth, that's not first to wash. So when you close your lips, okay, and naturally close your lips, okay, I don't want you to do, so you haven't got no lips left, okay, and say no, I don't need to wash them anymore. When you close your lips naturally, then what happens is whatever is hidden, that's not first to wash. Whatever is apparent, that is first to wash. Does that make sense? If a person has his hands closed, like this, or his nails have grown. His nails have grown to a point that they're covering his fingertips. He says that it's wajib to wash in between them, or another example is that they have atta in between them. Yes? If the nails have atta inside them, what you need to do is remove the atta and wash underneath those nails. Wash underneath those nails. So if you do decide to grow your nails, then remember one thing, your fingertips are part of your hand and they need to be washed. Okay? This is later on to tell you that it's sunnah to start, when you wash your hands, to start from your fingertips. So always make sure that we have taps these days, so make sure that you place your fingertips underneath the tap first and then do whatever you like after that. Okay? However you wash your hand. Darn. Hard word to translate. Dirt that comes off your body, if you like. Yes? And what do we use in our language? Mel. Okay. This is natural dirt, if you like. Natural dirt, that's there. You know, like some people have natural dirt and then it comes underneath their nails. Okay. If that's there, that does not affect your wuzu. That does not affect wuzu. Okay. If you have a tight ring on, these days they have wedding rings. Yes. If it's a tight ring, maybe not in the first few years of marriage, but later on in the years you always keep it on and you forget that it's done and you've actually grown into it. If it's a ring that's really, really tight, then this needs to be given a wiggle. Okay, give it a bit of a twirl under running water. Yeah, just to make sure that water gets underneath it. Remember, it's false to wash your hand, isn't it? Yeah, so water gets underneath it so that you're sure that you've got your wuzu.
So say you're washing your hands, does that need to be done 3 times?
It doesn't have to be done 3 times, but if you've got running water, you can just pass it through. And if you haven't got running water, then just pass water 3 times through it. Yes. But as long as you're sure that water has gone underneath it, then it's fine. He just puts a masla at the end, and that is that if a person has wounds, just an example, he said feet, but just an example, okay? We call this qaid ittifaqi. Qaid ittifaqi. There's no particular reason why he mentioned feet. The wounds could have been anywhere. They could have been on his arms as well. But just for the sake of making example, he made a example. Is not there to take out something else. Okay? So a person's got wounds on his feet and they really hurt him. It really harms him to pass water over them. Then like I said before, if he's got medicine or whatever on it, yeah, some kind of cream or whatever there is, then all you can do is wash the rest of the limbs that he needs to wash, which is not harmed. There's no wounds there. He can easily wash those parts. Wash all of them, and then on this part, get a wet hand and pass gently over it to whatever extent the person has. Whatever extent the person has, just pass over the wound in a nice manner. So you don't have to actually pass water over it. He tells another masla, and that is that a person does not have to repeat his masah or his washing. For example, if he shaved his head, so the example is that a person has done wuzu and he was about to go to the masjid, and as he's walking down, he thought that I've still got 2 hours for the next namaz, and he happened to just stand outside the barber shop. So he thinks, okay, I might as well just get a haircut. I have enough time. Get a haircut. So he shaves all his head off, or just gets a haircut. Now this doesn't mean that you have to do wuzu again. You're still in wuzu. Maybe somebody asked the author this question. That's why he placed this in the book. Go for it.
Sorry, does that include nails as well?
Yeah, it's coming. That's the next masala. Okay. With this one, you don't have to repeat the masa. Meaning, once you've got wuzu, you've got wuzu. Yes? If you find those things that are against wuzu, which break wuzu, then you'll have to redo your wuzu. But things like shaving your head or removing hair will not remove your wuzu. In terms of washing, if you take off your nails, so you made wuzu, yes, and then you thought, my nails are soft at the moment, I should take them off. Okay, you should wash your hands before taking off your nails as well. Okay, and then you can re-wash them afterwards. It makes life easy. So you made wuzu, so now you thought my nails are soft because you washed them. Now you've removed your nails. You don't have to wash your hands again. You do not have to wash your hands again. You still got wuzu. Similarly, if you removed your mustache, yes, if you removed your mustache, you washed your face, and then you decided to remove your mustache. You did wuzu, you removed your mustache straight after it. You don't have to redo your wuzu again or wash your face again.
Getting your head shaved, you get cuts, but you don't actually bleed.
You get cuts, but you don't actually bleed.
Like you get small cuts, but the blood.
We're gonna deal with that masla and the things that break wuzu. Okay, we'll tell you there what we mean by bleeding as well. Okay, I'll properly define that, because there is a misconception that I've heard a lot of teachers talking about, and I've heard it from a lot of students as well, and it's a total misconception, and it's a wrong interpretation of the Hanafi fiqh. Okay, wrong representation of it, and we'll sort that out over there as well. You know, flowing blood, what we class as flowing blood, we'll sort it out over there as well. Let's just go into the next chapter slightly, and that is the adab of wuzu. The adab of wuzu, we mean something that is mustahab for you to do in your wuzu. Sorry, did I miss something? I missed something. The sunnahs of wuzu, not the adab of wuzu. I missed a chapter. The sunnahs of wuzu. I'm not going to go into all of them. We'll do some today and we'll do some next time, inshallah. He mentions 18 things which are sunnah in wuzu. And that is, you could say, a minimum, not a maximum. Yes? There could be more. Yes? But just to make life easy for you, he's brought out 18 sunnahs. What are they? He says, first of all, washing both hands to the wrists. So before you start your wuzu, what do? Wash both hands up to the wrists. That's including the wrists, okay? Anybody seen the NHS method of washing the hands? That's the sunnah method. Okay? Sunnah method. One is the hands and one is the arms. I think the arms one they make it particular for surgeons and things like that. But generally for nurses, it's just their hands. If you ever look at that, yes, the way they do it, that's exactly the sunnah. The actual method is the sunnah method. Give and take some things, the order of it and things like that. That may not be in line with the sunnah. But more or less the actions that they do, look, this is khilal. Whichever way you do it. If you do it that way or this way, this is khilal. Yes, they do this. Yes, they do the wrist. Yes, they do all that. This is all sunnah method of washing your hands. Okay. That's why they should have a pay rise. Okay. So washing your hands up to the wrists. Reading Bismillah. They're not in any particular order, okay? So it's not like a specific order that, you should do this first and then that second. No, it's just in random order. So reading Bismillah Rahmanir Rahim in the starting. And I do like to mention here as well, be careful of where you are. Yes? We have toilets in our bathrooms, don't we? Yes? So be careful, if there's toilets, then don't read Bismillah Rahmanir Rahim. So before you go into the bathroom, just say Bismillah Rahmanir Rahim for everything. Bismillah Rahman for everything, and then go into the bathroom. Yes, yeah. And then you can start your wuzu, and inshallah you get the reward of that as well. Miswak. Doing miswak. Yes, in the starting of the wuzu. Miswak is a stick. Yes. And I was going to say something regarding the essentials of purification. Yes. The essential of purification is coming out soon. Brothers are still proofreading it. And the starting chapter, I think, has a section on miswak as well. Regarding the miswak and the length of miswak and things like this. Okay. The miswak is a very, very important thing in a Muslim's life. And you should carry a miswak as well. Is a sign of wisdom. A miswak, the length of it should be the slight. If you do that, they're not Illuminati signs again, okay? They just, this is how you hold a miswak. If you rest it on your little finger, okay, and then it goes over, and there's a slight difference. If you want to keep this index finger underneath, yeah, so it rests on top, okay? If you want to hold it on top, okay? So it goes this way. This is pen small for my hand, but just for example's sake, hold it like that. So it rests on your middle fingers, and the bottom of it is resting on your small finger, and then the rest of it comes onto your thumb, okay? You use the miswak. This is small for me. So, but what it should be is, whatever the length of your hand is, it should be just slightly longer than it. Slightly longer than it. And that's how you hold the miswak. The reason why we hold this miswak is if you ever go to the dentist. Who's been to the dentist recently? You meet a dentist every day? Yeah, he's fully booked. I met him the other day actually. I went to Mudkas. The reason we hold it like that, the dentist will tell you, is whenever you brush your teeth, you never apply pressure. Yes? Because if you apply pressure and you're pressing down on your toothbrush, then you are not cleaning your teeth. Yes? You're just smudging them. You're just a smudge. Yes? So you're not cleaning. So really you have to do your toothbrush really lightly. Yes? Just like nice, softly. So that the bristles are just touching your teeth, and then they are rubbing against it, and then they are cleaning it. Okay? In that manner. So they tell you not to apply pressure. Common mistake people make, they hold the toothbrush like this, and then they are forcing it in. Okay? So the sunnah method is done that way because there are bristles at the end of a miswak, aren't there? Yes? And it is circular. And the dentist will tell you and make a difference between as well circular toothbrush and straight toothbrushes. Yes? There's different methods of using both of them. Yes? Straight toothbrushes, you know, where the bristles are all straight, you do circular motions. Yes? And round bristles, the toothbrush is round. Yes? Then you can just brush that straight. Yes? You can just brush that straight. You know, like you have the electronic ones. Yes? Electric ones, you just hold it still and it does all the job. You just move it straight. With the normal hand one as well, you do that straight because it's already circular. Yes? So you don't have to do the circular motion. Now, the miswak is circular. The miswak is circular, and all you need to do with it is hold it lightly. Yes? Hold it lightly without applying pressure, and just move it side to side. Not up and down. No, we don't do up and down. The side to side. It's actually dislike to do up and down. Side to side. And best way to brush it is what do the dentists tell you to brush? Where do you brush? The bottom of your teeth? No, they always tell you to brush between half of your toothbrush should be on your gums and half of them on your teeth. Yes? Because that's where every problem arises from. Yes? Gum diseases and things like this. Yeah? So you brush exactly on that point. The miswak is no different. The miswak, half of it rests upon your gums and half of it rests upon your teeth, and you start from your right side to your left side, from your left side to your right side, from your right side to your left side. Then you move to the bottom. And there's various other methods of using it. Okay? So the reason why we hold it like this is so that you can't apply pressure onto the miswak. Literally what you're going to do with it when you're holding it like that. Yeah? So you can only place it in your mouth. With your little finger does not have the strength for you to push it into your mouth. Yes? So that's why we hold it like that and we move it side to side.
Right to left.
Right to left and wherever. So right, left, left, right, left. And then you do the same thing with the bottom one. There are a few different methods as well from ulama kiram as to some go right, left, like that. And they just keep doing right, left, up and down. Yes? And various few other methods like that as well. But I prefer this one. Okay. So miswak in the starting. Miswak is a very, very important thing within Islam. For according to us, it's sunnah for wuzu. What is it sunnah for? Wuzu. According to Imam Shafi'i, it's sunnah for namaz. Yes. So according to Imam Shafi'i, you might see some ulama, what they do is before they start namaz, they'll take their miswak out and they start doing the miswak before salah. Okay? And they have to do that before every salah then, if they want the sunnah reward. Yes? Yes. According to us, it's sunnah for wuzu. So if you made one wuzu and read 5 namaz, you got sawab for doing miswak for every single namaz as well. Yes, according to us. Yes. that's that. And miswak, we always mention the importance of miswak as well, that even in the Battle of Badr, the Prophet ﷺ did not check the sword or the armor of the Sahaba Ikram. He went around and asked them regarding the miswaks. Yes? So in the Battle of Badr, the Prophet did not even ask them if they got swords and things like this. He went to every single companion and said, have you got your miswak? Have you got your miswak? Do you have your miswak? Through all of them. Okay? There's a reason behind it. The angels were going to descend. Yes? And angels don't descend where there are bad smells. Yes? So that's that. Even if you have to use your finger. So wuzu is sunnah to do miswak, and even if you don't have a miswak, then use your finger. Use your finger. We'll stop there on that. Okay. And then we'll carry on with the sunnahs next week, inshallah. We'll move on to your Arabic. Hopefully you've all got the books.
Can you do dua in the shower room? There's only a shower there.
Dua in the shower room with only a shower there. Yes, you can, depending on what state you're in. Yes. If you're in a respectable state, then yes. Then it's fine.
And also, do you have to read the dua, the same dua when you enter the toilet in the shower room?
You can, yes. Yes. But there is a particular dua for having a bath as well. There is a particular dua. Sorry. Smoking does not break wuzu. Smoking does not break wuzu. Okay? Break your fast though. What was the last lesson? What did we mention last? Yeah, Huruf Asli and Huruf Zaida. That's on page 21, by the way. Huruf Asli and Huruf Zaida are on page 21. Since you've done page 21, we're going to move on to lesson 5. That's page 23. Right, pay attention to this because this can be a bit confusing as well. Just because it doesn't make sense right in the start. But later on it does make sense. Okay? Again, this is one of those places where you have to have reliance upon the teacher, understand what's at hand, and then later on it becomes clearer than the sun. Okay? We call these the 6 types. The 6 types, and they are called shash aqsam. They are called shash aqsam. Shash means 6 in Persian. What does shash mean? 6 in Persian. If you ever do the Dars Nizami course with me, I'll teach you Persian as well. Yes? Not a lot of people teach Persian anymore. But if I have this shauq to teach Persian as well. But I didn't study Persian much with my ustad. But recently I have been studying with them when they've been teaching. They've been teaching other people, but my ustad has a habit that he always keeps a commentary in Persian with him. And because of that, I've kind of picked up on Persian as well. I did study the Farsi Aqidah and Karima Sa'di and various other books as well with them. But it's not as good as my Arabic, unfortunately. But shash means 6 in Persian. 6 in Persian. These are called the 6 types. Why do we call them the 6 types? Can anybody guess? Because there's 6 of them. Yes, just make life easy. When we did Ism, Fail and Harf, we call them the 3 types. Yes. Later on, I'm going to ask you questions. So I might say, what is it from the 3 types? Yes. You should know in the back of your mind, the 3 types are Ism, Fail and Harf. So when I say, what is it from the 3 types? Then using your signs, you'll say it is Ism. Using your signs, you say it's Fail. Using your signs, you'll say it's Harf. If I say, what is it from the 6 types? Then whatever signs we tell you now, you will use that and tell me what it is from. There's another category coming, and they're known as the 7 types. They're called the Haft Aqsam. And that's the last of these terminologies and the terms that we do. Okay, that's more or less straight after these, and that's when we start the actual grammar itself. Okay, so these 6 types, we call them shash aqsam, just like you say shasham kalma. Yes, shasham kalma. Recently I've realized as well that the 6th kalma has somehow disappeared from the namaz books. Yes, have you noticed that? Yes. Teach your kids it because it's good. One of the benefits, you might say, what are the use of the kalimas? Yes. When you're old up, when you become old, yes, and then you go to the Maulana and you say, Maulana Sahib, can I have a dua? Tell me what dua to read. Yes. I'm going through this reason, can I have a dua? If you pick up Kitab al-Azkar of Imam Nawawi, you'll find the majority of the duas in there are from the 6th kalma. So it's either La ilaha illallah or the 2nd kalma, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, or the 4th kalma. One of the most common ones that he mentions is the 4th kalima. Okay? The 4th kalma is one of the most common du'as that the Prophet ﷺ read. Yeah? So make your kids learn the 6th kalma, because later on these are du'as that they will read and the sources of protection as well. Yes? There's a reason why the ulama ikram mentioned them, and the way they put them in the order as well. Okay? So they're good later on as well. People have started chopping them and changing them as well. Yes? So make sure you check your namaz books before you give them to your children. For example, some people read Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Yes? Or Abduhu wa Rasuluh sometimes. But they miss out wahdahu la sharika lahu. On various like that, they chop and change all the kalimas. But stick to the hadith sharif how they come.
So which book do you recommend in that case?
One common which I use here is the Namaz and Du'as book. Yes, the Namaz and Du'as book is in English, that one, isn't it? Yes, it's got like a green cover to it. It has a few mistakes in it, but if obviously you're teaching your children, aren't you? So you can iron those out. And other than that, you've got the Pakistani ones. Yes, they're really good. My uncle's written one, As-Salatul Hanafiya. Okay, it's good for your kalma and namaz. Okay. Shash aqsam. The first one is Lasi Mujarrad. You got it written. I forgot you got it written, and I wrote it on the board. Right, look what Sulasi Mujarrad is. How do we split these types? Understand that first before we go into this first time. And that is that Ism and Fi'l are of 6 types. Ism and Fi'l are of 6 types. Okay? 6 types. We're going to say 6 types, but the truth is, Ism is on 6 types and Fi'l is on 4 types. Yes, but we just rounded it off. Ism and Fi'l are on 6 types, but the truth is what? Ism is on 6 types and Fi'l is on 4 types. Okay? The last 2 types are only specific with Ism. Number 5 and number 6 will be specific with Ism. But how do we split this? Ism and Fi'l are on 6 types. Okay? But before we go into that, understand this, that can be a 3-letter word, that can be a 4-letter word, and that can be a 5-letter word. A 3-letter word in Arabic is called Sulasi. What is a 3-letter word called? Sulasi. Sulasi comes from Salasa. Salasa means 3. Salasa means 3. A 4-letter word, you know how we consider if a word is 3 letters or 4 letters? Yes, it's by its huruf asliya. Remember the fa and lam? Yes? So if I write daraba, I write fa'ala underneath it, this is now a 3-letter word. A 3-letter word. If I put ta at the end of it, darabta, okay? And then here I'll say fa'alta. Okay? How many real letters have you got in that word? 3, how many? Yes? And 1 extra letter. This is still a 3-letter word. This is why I said it's a bit confusing. You have to have trust. Okay? This is a 3-letter word. Okay? So the point here is that we only consider a word to be 3 letters or 4-letter word by its hurufe asliya, not by how many letters it consists of. So here this has got 4 letters in it, hasn't it? But its hurufe asliya are only 3. So then we say this is a 3-letter word. So sulasi is a 3-letter word. Ruba'i. Ruba'i. Ruba'i comes from arba, 4. Ruba'i is a 4-letter word. What we do with this is when we say fa, ain, lam kalma, fa, ain and lam kalma, obviously we have to add a letter now, don't we? We just add the extra lam. Add the extra lam. For example, we got fa'lala. A word in Arabic is dahraja. Dahraja. Now it's a 4-letter word. What scales with this is fa'lala. But you're going to ask the question, if we're going to make a 4-letter word, how do I match the 4th letter? The answer is that we just add the extra lam. There'll be 2 lams, and the bigger the word gets, the more lams you get then. Okay? So when we go to a 5-letter, there'll be 3. That's nothing bigger than a 5-letter word in terms of the rare letters. In terms of rare letters. A 5-letter word is called khumasi. What's it called? Khumasi comes from khamsa or khams, yes, which means 5. So these are 3 isms and fi'ls, or types of ism and fi'ls, which are sulasi, rubai and khumasi. Sulasi is a 3-letter word, rubai is a 4-letter word, and khumasi is a 5-letter word, and we consider them to be 3 letters, 4 letters or 5 letters based on the hurufe asliya, the rare letters. Now look, each one of them is split into 2. Each one of them is split into 2. More confusion. It's split into 2. Mujarrad and mazid fi. Mujarrad and mazid fi. It's not in the books, but I'm going to explain it. Mujarrad and mazid, to make life easier for you to understand what's written there. Mazid fi. Mujarrad. Mujarrad means empty. I'm gonna, we'll do this and then it'll come into that as well. Okay? I'm just breaking it all down for you. Mujarrad, the meaning that we want to give it is that a word has actual letters, huruf asli, and no huruf zaida. So it has what? Rare letters and no extra letters. Mazid fi. Mazid fi. Okay. Mazid means extra, doesn't it? Increased. So here it'll mean that there are actual letters as well with some extra letters. So now what we got 2, haven't we? Yes? But the sulasi, rubai and khumasi, we said each one of them is split into 2 types. How much have we got? 6. Yeah? So you have sulasi mujarrad, sulasi mazid fi. Rubai mujarrad, rubai mazid fi. Khumasi mujarrad and khumasi mazid fi. And now we know the definition of each one as well. The sulasi mujarrad is a 3-letter word. And has no extra letters. Sulasi mazid fi is a 3-letter word and has extra letters. Yes, the huruf zaida, extra letters, I mean huruf zaida. Has extra letters. Rubai mujarrad is a 4-letter word and has no extra letters. Mujarrad means empty. Yeah, so no extra letters, is naked of extra letters. No extra letters. So has 4-letter word, no extra letters. Rubai mazid fi is that which has 4 letters and has extra letters. Khumasi mujarrad is that ism. I'm not going to say word this time. I'm going to say ism, because there's no fail in khumasi. Okay, khumasi is always a noun, never a verb. Khumasi is that ism which has 5 letters and no. Khumasi mujarrad is that which has 5 letters and no extra letters, and khumasi mazid fi is a 5-lettered ism which has an extra letter. Does that make sense? No? Shall I explain it once more? Yes? Oh, go for it. We're going to tell you that. You know, the whole of your Arabic grammar, sarf, yes, it teaches you that. Yes? I'm going to give you like the first, the gardan. We call it a gardan. It's a pattern. And we say fa'ala, fa'ala, fa'alu, fa'alat, fa'alata, fa'alna, fa'altuma, fa'altum, fa'alti, fa'altuma, fa'altum, fa'altu, fa'alna. Yes? So this scale that I've given you, you find words in the Quran and you just have to match it with them. So wherever you see fa, ain, lam, so you got nasarta. Nasarta. You've learned that pattern. Yes? And you'll see, okay, fa'ala, fa'ala, fa'alu, fa'alat, fa'alata, fa'alna, fa'alta. You found it. Yes. And everything else will be extra. So the fa and lam is the real letters, ta will be extra, and you just match it like that. But we're going to give you a whole load of patterns though, which you have to learn. I'll explain that again. Look, words in Arabic are split into three types: Sulasi, Rubai, and Khumasi. Sulasi is a 3-letter word, Rubai is a 4-letter word, Khumasi is a 5-letter ism. 5-letter ism, that's the odd one out. Now, each one of them is split into 2 categories. Yes? Mujarrad and Mazid fi. Mujarrad is that where there is no extra letter. You just have to take it as it is. Okay? Has no extra letters. Mazid fi is that which has extra letters. Which has extra letters. So in that way, we got 6 categories, isn't it? Sulasi Mujarrad, Sulasi Mazid fi, Rubai Mujarrad, Rubai Mazid fi, Khumasi Mujarrad, Khumasi Mazid fi. And then you can go through it. Sulasi Mujarrad has 3 letters, no extra letters. Khumasi Mazid fi has 3 letters, has extra letters. Rubai Mujarrad has 4 letters, has no extra letters. Rubai Mazid fi has 4 letters, has extra letters rather. Khumasi Mujarrad, 5-letter word, has 5 real letters and no extra letters. Khumasi Mazid fi has 5 real letters, no extra letters. Yeah, shall I confuse you now? I can confuse you here and you'll be thinking about it all night. Okay? Fa'alta. Fa'alta. Sorry, let's do darabta. Darabta. How many real letters in there? 3. Yes, daraba, isn't it? Because of fa'alta. What's the extra letter? Ta. We know it's a Sulasi word, isn't it? Because it's only got 3 real letters. Yes? Will it be Mujarrad or Mazid fi? What is it? It's Mujarrad. Okay? It is Mujarrad. The reason is, right? The reason is, you know, this gardan, this pattern starts with fa'ala. Okay? From fa'ala, fa'alta was born. Yes? If the father's Chaudhry, then the son's Chaudhry, isn't it? That's what it is. Yes? Because that's Sulasi Mujarrad, then this will be Sulasi Mujarrad also. Do you understand that? Even though it's got an extra letter. Yes? But because his father is Mujarrad, then it's Mujarrad as well. Okay? I'll give you another example. Look, we've got af'ala. Okay? Af'ala is in one pattern is the top, is the first word. Yes? We'll have af'alta from that. Af'alta. Yes? Now this, because in the starting, in its first pattern, in the first design of it, it's got an extra letter. So we'll call this Lasi Mazid fi. But that's a really easy way to understand this. Yes? And they are called the babs. What are they called? The babs. Yeah? For example, I'll tell you that Sulasi Mujarrad has 5 chapters. Has 5 chapters. Yes? 5 patterns. If you learn those patterns, you'll know it's Sulasi Mujarrad. You'll know it's Sulasi Mujarrad. Remember last time there was Umar here and we asked him a question and he said his bab, I think he said Nasara Yansuru. Yes? Once you say his bab Nasara Yansuru, I will be telling you that bab Nasara Yansuru is the second bab of Sulasi Mujarrad. Yes? So once you say his bab Nasara Yansuru and I ask you why is it from Shashak Sam, you straight away know that it's Sulasi Mujarrad, isn't it? Because it's from its types. Yes? So just have trust. When we do that, you'll get it, inshallah.
You know, Aqidah, you said that it would go to Aqidah. How do you know that it wasn't from Aqidah?
Because of the Hamza in the starting, there'll be signs for everything. The Hamza carries out all the way through.
So if it has the letter through, it
Yes.
just means that just started
Yes.
from
That's the start. There's signs for everything, and that's one thing you'll have to learn. And I'm going to go through all the signs as well. So each pattern will have signs. Each chapter, each bab that we do will have signs to it. Okay? For example, we don't just put shad wherever we want to put it. Okay? There are certain babs that have a shad on them. Yes? So we'll tell you which babs have that, and you'll always know that then. Okay? Do you understand that? Yeah? Durutun jina or tunajjina. Yeah? Both ways is read, isn't it? Which one's better? We'll tell you that as well. Okay? Shall we go through the examples? Yes? Sulasi, I'll give you Sulasi Mujarrad, and that's, for example, Daraba. Yes? Ambar was in Fa'ala. It's on the scale of Fa'ala. So 3 letters. Sulasi Mazid Fi. He has Himarun. Leave Sulasi Mazid Fi. I'll give you another example of it, and that is Af'ala. Okay? Take Akrama. Forget his example. Do Akrama. I proofread this book, but they changed it since what I've read. They never gave me a version of it. Akrama. So look, Akrama, the Gardam is Akrama, Akrama, Akramu, Akramat, Akramata, Akramna, Akramta, Akramtum, Akramtum, Akramti, all the way down. Yes? There'll be 14 words to it. Now, Akrama, it comes on the scale as Af'ala. But here, how many letters are there? 3. Are there any extra letters in that? There are. The Hamza in the starting. The Hamza in the starting. This will be Sulasi Mazid Fi. But to make life easy, we'll tell you Sulasi Mazid Fi has so many babs. Yes? Generally, we give about 9 babs. How many? 9 babs will tell you common babs that. There are a lot more than that. We'll say there's 9 babs to this Sulasi Mazid Fi. Once you learn those 9 babs, there's nothing outside of Sulasi Mazid Fi. Yes? Rubai Mujarrad. Rubai Mujarrad, for example, I gave you before, Dah Raja. Dah Raja. On the wazn of Fa'lala. On the wazn of Fa'lala. Fa'lala. Yes? So how many real letters are there in there? 4. Are there any extra letters? No? That's part of the real letters, isn't it? Look, go back to your definition of huruf asli. What was it? The huruf asli are those which come opposite fa, ain or lam. Yes? So if you add the extra lam, that will be still lam, isn't it? Yes? So it comes under that definition. No. We're adding it as an actual letter as opposed to an extra letter. Just because the word in its actual letters has increased. Okay? It would be an extra letter then. So example, look, for fa'alta, yes, we don't take the wazn out as fa'al-la. We don't do that. Why? Because we know from before that the extra letter is always repeated. Yes, so we put a ta there instead. Yes, but again, it makes life easy when you know the babs as well, because you know what they are then. Okay, this is where you have to have that slight bit of trust. Is everything in stages, inshallah ta'ala. But I like to confuse you. Khumasi, Rubai, Mazid Fi. Yes, just add a ta in the starting of this and change a bit of the vowels. So you don't need to change it. Tadah Raja. Tadah Raja. Okay, and put a ta then in front of this. Tafa lala. Now, how many real letters are there? 4. How many extra letters are there? 1. So this will be Rubai Mazid Fi. Rubai Mazid Fi. Khumasi Mujarrad and Khumasi Mazid Fi. Just take the examples from there. Khumasi is that which has 5 letters and no extra letters. Like you got Safar Jalun. Safar Jalun. Okay. And Khumasi here it'll be the wazn as Safar Jalun. Fa'al Lalun. Fa'al Lalun. Okay. 3 lams this time. How many? 3 lams this time. Why? Because we've increased the letters of the word. You've got Ankabutun. Ankabutun. This will come on the wazn as Fa'lalulun. with the waw in between. Fa'la lu lun. Okay, try to do it in your head as well. Safarjalun will come as no the zabar zaid pesh. Fatha zamma kasra and the sukun, keep them in its places. You don't need to mess around with them. Yes. So however you're reading it, when you break the scale out, keep all those zabar zaid peshes in their own place. Yes. So safarjalun, you got fatha on the scene, so you put a fatha on the fa. And then on the fa here, you got a fatha as well. Then in the scale, on the end, you'll put a fatha. On the ra, which is the first lam, we'll name it like that: first lam, second lam, third lam. Make life easy. On the first lam, which is the ra here, that's a sukoon. So in the scale on the first lam, put a sukoon. So you got fa'al. And then you got ja on the jim, that's a fatha. Then on the second lam put a fatha. So you got fa'al la. And then on the lam in the actual word, you've got a tanween. Then put a tanween on the last one as well. So fa'al la lun. And for the second one, you can do the same as well. So it'll be fa'la lu lun. Fa'la lu lun. Okay, so the waw is extra there, isn't it? Here you don't need to worry about khumasi and the whole of khumasi mujad and khumasi mazid fi. In sarf you won't touch upon it. Yes, because they're nouns. They are nouns, and we don't put them into babs. Yes, so we don't really touch upon them because you can't make new words out of them. So we don't touch upon them at all. Yes, you don't need to worry about them. Just listen to the Arabs and work it out. Okay. So that's that. Any questions so far?
Does it get easier?
Yeah.
What page we on a minute ago now?
What's that?
What page we on now?
Page 23. I just broke it down for you, that's why. Yes?
I thought you were looking at examples. That's
23. Yeah. Page 23. He's actually given some more examples on the next page as well. I'm going to skip a page because he's done something different here. Just skip to page 32. We're going to do the 7 types right at the end, okay? He just switched the order around. We'll do them at the end because they're kind of long. And I'm going to split it slightly different to how we split it. Okay? Ism is of 3 types. Ism is of 3 types. What's an ism? From the boys. What is it? What's the definition of it? What definition? That's a translation.
It's got a meaning, but it doesn't have a tense.
Yeah, it doesn't have a tense. Has a meaning and has a meaning but no tense. Okay, that's the ism. Now remember one thing. Sometimes when we study in the Nizami, we'll say this thing is split into 4 types, and we'll do those 4 types, 5 types, 6 types. Then we'll go on to next page and we'll say again that this same thing is now split into another 10 types. Sometimes we consider things. Yes. For example, humans, we can split them up and say humans are split into 3 types. Yes. Humans are split into 3 categories. Yes. That's white, black, and orange, for example. Okay, yellow, sorry. Okay. So you have that. Yes. So more or less. Yes. Or you must say that humans are of 2 types, male and female. Yes. So but you see, we've considered different things, haven't we? Your consideration is different. You're looking at a different aspect of that human. Yes. So in a similar way like this, we just said ism is of 6 types. Yes, we just said that, didn't we? The 6 types, ism, that's part of ism as well. And now we're splitting ism again into 3 types. We're just different things considering.
أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
So look, we consider different things sometimes when dividing things. So you have to be careful of what you consider as well to actually know how it's divided as well. Okay. Here is slightly different. So Islam here will be now divided into 3 categories. How many categories? 3 categories. And they're simple, they're not very hard. But just note this down as well. He's doing 2, but I'm doing 3. Yes? So note the second one down. Yes? The second one that I mentioned, okay? So Islam is of 3 types. The first one is masdar. Masdar, you will class as a root word. You will class as a root word. Okay. Definition of masdar, I'll give you an easy definition as well. You can read that one. Masdar is that from which other words come forth. Yes, masdar is that from which you make new words from. You can make new words from masdar. That's why it's called a root word. That's what masdar is. If you're translating into Urdu, then when you translate masdar, there will always be a na or a ni. Marna, karna, baithna, uthna. Yes? Ni, one example they give, hamd karni. Yes? So na and ni comes on it. That's a perfect sign for you to know that it is masdar. In Farsi is dan or tan. Yes? If dan or tan comes at the end of the word, then it is masdar. In English is to, to, to hit, to sit. Yes, the infinitive. To hit, to sit, and I believe ing as well. Then that way it would be. In some cases, it depends on your sentence. Okay, sitting.
Yeah, or the film was boring.
Yeah, boring. Yes. So in some cases, the ing that comes at the end of words can also indicate towards it being a masdar, a root word. Okay. So that is masdar. Masdar is a root word, and all the words that you will make for that one word will come from the root word. For example, darbun. The example of masdar is darbun. What's the wazn of it? Anybody know? What am I writing? Fa, ain. What am I putting on the fa? Fatah. What am I putting on the ain? Sukun. What am I putting on the lam? Tanween. Get used to saying those words as well, okay? That's how you do it, fa'lun. Fa'lun. Now, darbun is a masdar. We'll make all sorts of words from it. We can make daraba from it, which means he hit. We can make yadribu from it. He is hitting or he will hit. We can take daribun from it, the one who hit. We can take duriba, he got hit. Yudrabu, he is being beaten or will get beaten. Okay. We can take madrubun, the one who got beaten. Yeah. We can take idrib from darbun. Yeah. We can make idrib, a command, hit him, hit. Okay. La tadrib, don't hit. Yes. Madribun, a place of hitting, maybe a ring. Okay. What else is there? Midrabun. Midrabun is a hammer in Arabic. It's a tool to hit, isn't it? Yes, you hit it, you strike it. Yes. And so on and so forth. You can make lots of words in Arabic like that. Yes. Now, the point of mentioning all that is the root word is called a root word because it's actually the root of all the other words that come forth from it. But you would have noticed one thing that carried on throughout the whole of the word that I made. What is the thing that carried on? Daraba. Dadraba was in all of them. Yes. Daraba, yadribu, daribun, duriba, yudrabu, madrubun, idrib. Yes. La tadrib, madribun, midrabun, midrabatun, midrabun, adrabu, durba. Yes. They all, dadraba, the huruf asli are there constantly. Okay. So you can derive nouns from it and you can derive verbs from it as well. What can you derive from it? Nouns and verbs. The reason I said that, the next category that I'm going to mention, Ism Mushtaq, is only regarding nouns. Okay. So number 2 is Mushtaq. You can write Ism Mushtaq as well if you want. Ism Mushtaq. We just generally call it Mushtaq because we said in the starting anyway that Ism is of 3 types. Okay. Sometimes we call the verb Mushtaq as well. Yes, because it's also derived from Masdar. But here this is a particular category of nouns. Okay. And these nouns are those nouns which you can derive from what? Where do you derive things from? Yeah, root word. So these Ism Mushtaq is that which is derived from Masdar. In all, they're only in 6 types. They're really 7, but we don't do the 7th one. They're all together how many? 6. How many are all together? 6 types. You can write that next to it as well if you're writing that down. In all, there are 6 types. That's what you're going to do as well. That's a pattern. 6 patterns. The 7th one is called Ism Mubalgha, but it doesn't have a specific scale. It's what we call Sama'i. It's just heard from the Arabs. Yes? They don't have a particular scale or a particular pattern. And there's no particular principles for it. You just heard of. Yes? And that's how they do it. So that's why we don't have like a pattern for it. But altogether there's 6 patterns for this that we do. Yes? Like Ism Fa'il, Ism Maf'ul and things like that. Yes? You're going to do those 6 and that will make life easy for you. Yes? So Ism Mushtaq will be those 6. One example of it is Daribun. Daribun. What's the scale? Fa'ilun. Fa'ilun. Yes. This is Ism Fa'il, but it's taken from Darbun. Daribun was made from Darbun. Our job in these classes is to tell you how it's made as well. Yes. We're not just going to tell you to make it. Tell you how to make it, inshallah. Now, here Fa'ilun is Ism Fa'il is a doer. Yes, it means the one who hit. Daribun, the one who hit. Fa'ilun, the one who did. Yes, but that can be made from it, and that's like this. The 6 categories of them which you are going to learn, inshallah ta'ala, later on. Okay. The second type, the third rather, second in the book, third of mine. Okay, is Ism Jamid. Jamid you could translate as a solid noun. Solid noun. A solid noun, even in the English language, is that word which is not derived from anything, and nor can you derive any new words from it. Yes? You can't derive, it's not derived from anything, nor can you derive any words from it. Example of it is, I'll give you example, is Rajulun. Scale is Fa'lun. Fa'lun. Yes? Rajulun, you can't make any of the word from it. Literally, you can't make no word from it. It means man. Yes? What are you going to make? Rajala. There was a man. Okay. They don't even mean that in the Arabic anyway. So you literally, to carry that meaning on, you can't make any other words from it. There are words like Rajala. Yes? Sometimes I believe they come in the meaning of combing your hair. But the meaning of man hasn't carried out. So you understand that it's not from this root word, is it? It's not from this root word. So it's from the root word of Rajil. Yes? So that is a solid noun. The good news is you only have to worry about the middle one. Yes? For sarf, you only need to worry about the middle one.
What's the definition for that again, please?
Which one?
The middle one.
Mushtaq, sorry. Mushtaq is that ism, that noun, which is derived from masdar.
So derived from the root word.
Yes. Derived from the root word.
The masdar of rajulun fa'ulun.
Yeah, fa'ulun, sorry. Good catch. Fa'ulun, not fa'lun. Fa'ulun. You only have to worry about the second category. Masdar is masdar, right? More or less whatever bab we give you, we'll tell you the masdar alongside it. And we'll tell you what scales it comes on. So that's the easy part. Jamid, you don't have to worry about. Again, this is something that you just have to hear from the Arabs. There's not any literal scale to it. Mushtaq is something that you have to worry about, but we made life easy for you that we have restricted it to how many types? 6 types. Yes? It'll just be isme fa'il, isme maf'ul, isme zarf, isme ala, sifat mushabba, and isme tafdeel. Okay? These are the 6 that you have to only worry about. And the easy, daribun, daribani, daribun, daribani, daribani, daribuna, daribina, daribatun, daribatani, daribatani, daribatun. That's it, that's the first one. Then madrubun, madrubani, madrubani, madrubuna, madrubina, madrubatun, madrubatani, madrubatani, madrubatun. Okay, that's the second one. They get easier actually. The isme ala is just madribun, madribani, madribani, madaribu. Isme ala is midrabun, midrabani, midrabani, madaribu. Midrabatun, midrabatani, midrabatani, madaribu. Midrabun, midrabani, midrabani, madaribu. It gets easier. Okay, and like that you just go through it. That's all you have to learn. Yes? In sarf, literally, you just have to memorize it and learn those skills. And then, as homework, when you learn those skills, is just to open the Quran, take blessing from the Quran, and try to spot those words on those skills in the Quran. Look, I've given you one fa'ala, and I've given another one fa'alta. Try to find them. You'll find those, nasarta. Yes, you'll find them. Yansuru, unsur. Yes, you'll find all these words in the Quran. Okay, this is about you going into them. Iftah. Yes, look, fakhla, not like. Yes, take the fa away, read it ikhla. Yes, and you found something that's there. But try to look for fa'ala, and you'll find loads in the Quran. Yes, but the truth is, when we do start it, there might be one more lesson on the 7 types. After the 7 types, then your actual sarf starts, where you start learning the skills. But be prepared for them. Yes, as in they're kind of tricky, and not in understanding, in terms of remembering them. What's what? Learning your signs. Yes? It's easy. I'll tell you this is a sign of this. Yes, but then you have to learn it enough that when I have it on the board and I ask you what is your sign of, you should be able to answer it. Okay. So inshallah we'll stop there for today. There was a question regarding salah and a sister who has abnormal menstrual. We call it istihaza. If the menstrual cycle, the monthly menses, if it goes over 10 days, up until 10 days is haid. If it goes above 10 days, then it's istihaza. Namaz is fard. You just do wuzu and read your namaz. Okay? We're going to have a chapter on that anyway.
Yeah, what about the condition where it's not 10 days, it's a short period, let's say 4 days, and then another week is 5 days, another week.
No, that's
3
fine.
days.
You know, if it stops, that you're saying.
Yeah, so if
No,
it's a 4
that's fine.
very
If it's within from 3 days to 10 days, within that time, and it keeps going up and down, that's fine.
But it's not once a month, it's 4 times a month or 5 times a month. It's recurring.
Or it's reoccurring. No, then we have a minimum of 15 days in between each period. Yeah, anything between 15 days will be classed as istihaza. Anything above 15 days will class it as a menses. We'll have a whole chapter on that anyway, inshallah. So we'll stop there for today, inshallah.